Toy Chat is not a children's channel. This video is intended for adult gift givers and collectors. Hey guys, welcome to Toy Chat. This is Max.
And Stein.
And this is another episode of Collector's Corner, our podcast where we discuss hot topics in the doll and toy industry centered on some of our favorite brands. And there is a whole lot going on in the world of Monster High right now, and the focus of this discussion is going to be the brand new Monster High collector dolls, specifically Vampire Heart Draculaura and Howliday Edition Clawdeen Wolf. We know there are a whole bunch of other things that have recently leaked from Monster High as well. We don't know if we're necessarily going to cover all of those in this conversation. Maybe we'll lightly touch on it at the end. Real brief life and channel update kind of before we jump into this. I am in the middle of moving right now, and my life has been extremely crazy and chaotic. And where I was living previously was Sang and I's primary filming space. So you guys may notice our upload schedule will be a little erratic and kind of sporadic for a bit until I get settled into the new place, which is going to be like late September into early October. But during that time, you may be able to expect some more podcasts from us and things that are a little less labor intensive to, edit and upload. We do have one other review that has already been filmed and is in the works. I need to finish editing it. But yeah, if there's anything you guys want to hear us discuss in podcast episodes, definitely let us know. But jumping straight into these new Monster High dolls, we'll start off with the biggest conversation starter, which has definitely been Vampire Heart Draculaura, who recently went live to purchase on Amazon. She is an Amazon exclusive, and I feel like the entire community fell head over heels with this doll the second she was revealed. Yes. I think she's this is the warmest reception I've seen to a Monster High doll in a long time. And essentially, Vampire Heart Draculaura is a bit of a what if imagining of if Draculaura, were a vampire queen in a very, Victorian aesthetic, kind of inspired by the Frights Camera Action movie. We should say we never watched Frights Camera Action. No. So we do not have the full context of that story's canon. We know, Elizabeth was in it and stuff like that. I did see some people say they wished this release was Elizabeth.
Yes, but they know Draculaura sells.
Yes. Something cool about this is we do actually have quite a bit of background information on the doll in terms of, details, inspiration, and kind of the process of, designing and producing her, courtesy of Annalise, or the _Age of A on Instagram. She is, to my understanding, one of the primary designers of this doll. And yeah, she mentioned that, this doll specifically is an imagining of, what if Draculaura really was the vampire queen, and what would she wear to her coronation to debut in vampire society. So there is quite a bit going on with this doll. She is extremely detailed. She is very, very Victorian. And I would say, it's Draculaura's aesthetic has historically kind of always been like Victorian meets modern goth. Yeah. But I feel like this is the most traditional Victorian Draculaura, at least that it's the full on, the cage skirts, the, intricate peplums. What's kind of cool is Annalise shared, a lot of different details, again, on her Instagram page. It was in her story, so I don't know how long that information will stay accessible. But she mentioned that the doll does come with a lace bodysuit with contrasting lace cuffs and contrast seam top stitching. And her cage skirt is a double vinyl cage skirt with foil drapery. It has an inbuilt panty, which to my understanding, so basically she has panties that are attached to the cage skirt.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's similar to most skirts, with Monster High and Rainbow High, where it's just a piece of fabric that holds the skirt from riding up on her.
Yeah, so there's a lot going on. It's, it's really cool. The cage skirt itself has a lot of really intricate details of what look like bats and hearts and things like that. Something really cool that Annalise made a point to mention as well. It
reminds me of like a gothic version of like a greenhouse dome.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Something really cool that designer Annalise specified on the cage skirt design is like, if it looks familiar to Monster High OG collectors, it may be because they looked at the fabric artwork used for Fright's Camera Action budget Draculaura's dress and reworked it a bit as the main motif in this design, kind of as like an Easter egg. So that is cool.
It definitely shows you how proud they are of her, because I think this is the most a designer has talked about a Monster High doll.
Rebecca Shipman has shared a lot of information too, but this was really like, this was like a deep dive into.
Well, those other ones are more of like a schedule stage presentation. This is more of like an art, like a designer going out of her way to talk about a doll.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, again, there's so much going on with this doll. She has a really large and intricate headdress in addition to the cage skirt and this, elaborate gown.
Even her hair is pretty elaborate. There's like braids that wrap around her and then long flowy black hair.
Yeah, one concern I have, and this was actually one of the first things I clocked when I looked at this doll, is I'm very, very concerned what the quality control is going to be of those interesting like curly Q bangs. I feel like those might end up being really problematic in the production versions. They're styled very nicely in the promos, of course. Something interesting though that Annalise also made a point to mention is that the promo images do not use a prototype of the doll. She's saying that they used a factory version. Although she did state, of course, that the factory version was styled, meaning, she had her hair done.
Yeah.
Of course. But her headdress, for me personally, the headdress is one of my favorite parts. I really like that, like, heart crystal on the back. I would really hope it pops that much in person. I don't know if it will, but it looks very, like, jewelry-esque in the the promo. It's possible it could look a little flatter in person. But it is really fun. I mean, there's a lot of intricate sculpting on her. I mean, there's even like little tiny hearts attached to the big like spiderweb bow headdress. She has very elaborate earrings as well. And the top stud of the earrings is a miniaturized sculpt of the same heart that's used, on her back headdress. She's very, very detailed. She has a lot of lace. One thing we definitely do need to talk about as well, her shoes are probably one of my favorite parts of the whole doll. I think these are probably one of the like loveliest Monster High shoes we've seen on a collector doll in a while. It's a little hard to make out some of the detail because it's completely black, which is something I might say about the doll overall. We'll kind of get into that later, but the shoes are really cool. It's actually a transparent spiraling staircase, so it has like
on the heel.
Yeah, so it has like a spiraling staircase texture, and the top is a sculpture of a mini bat with like spread wings, which you can't see super clearly in the promos, but hopefully we'll get.
Yeah, it's definitely the little details. Like you're not expected to see the shoes with the dress on, but it's nice that they work so hard on just designing the shoe as well.
Once again, she's an Amazon exclusive. It's interesting, when she first dropped, she cost $100. Which as soon as I saw this doll, I was like, really elaborate Monster High dolls nowadays are usually a little like expensive, so I was expecting her price to be high. That was very high. I was like, oh man, okay.
I was expecting like 75 because some of the Mattel Creations Monster High dolls were 75, but yet $100. I guess if you have considered Amazon getting a cut of the profits, maybe that's why her price is so high. And obviously, once we saw more promo images of her, she's fairly detailed.
She is very detailed. Something very interesting that happened is over like however long it took for her to sell out, which at this time of recording, she sold out the same day she was listed.
It was very frustrating because like Monster High Instagram posts her image and everything right at 9 a.m. for us, but she didn't go live for another like 20 or 30 minutes.
Yeah. But what's interesting is eventually Amazon dropped her price from $100 to $90, and it happened kind of randomly after a lot of people had already pre-ordered her. I actually think that price change was visible on Amazon shortly before she sold out.
Yeah.
So that was a little interesting.
They weren't prepared. That's the moral of the story.
Yeah. So what are our thoughts on her?
I liked her. I purchased her, but I think she's kind of one of those dolls where she is predominantly like just her outfit's predominantly black, so you can't really. At first glance, she looks very simple, but up close, looking at the details and like the structure of the dress and everything, you can tell that she's a high-end doll.
For sure. Fair warning, I have a little bit of an unpopular opinion on this doll that's kind of evolved over time. My knee-jerk reaction to her when I first saw the leaks was that she's very different. She's very unique. I was like, oh yeah, they haven't really released many Draculaura dolls that look like that, even though there have been millions of Draculauras. So one of the things that is too is, there are some people who are probably experiencing a little bit of Draculaura fatigue at this point, because there have been so many, and there's so many also, obviously this is a Gen 1 styled doll, but there's so many characters who have not been introduced yet in Gen 3, or they haven't gotten dolls yet in Gen 3. So people are hoping to see more like new characters come back. But of course, there's also plenty of people who they're like, the limit does not exist for Draculauras. I will take all the Draculauras. Speaking as a Draculaura lover, I love Draculaura. She is absolutely one of my favorite characters to purchase as a doll. This particular one, she's incredibly detailed. She's very, very, very detailed. I think she's definitely very unique from most things we've gotten before. My knee-jerk reaction to her was just that I thought she was a lot of solid color, a lot of black. And this is kind of just an issue. Like, I love black clothes, and I love, I think you can do a lot of really awesome things with, goth and dark kind of styling. But I think she's so much black that it's hard to make out a lot of those beautiful details because it's just like all the same color. And I also, like I said earlier, I have a lot of concerns about the quality control of her hair. I feel like that type of hairstyle could potentially be a total mess in person. And she also strikes me as like one of those dolls who's really aesthetically beautiful to look at with like the huge elaborate cage skirt, but she probably will not be super movable in the giant skirt and all that because of everything going on.
Victorian outfits.
Yes, which is accurate to Victorian outfits. Yes. Also, just with the added context of where like my life is at right now. I'm in a position right this very second where I need to be getting a little more selective with things I'm purchasing. I wasn't expecting her initially $100 price point that later shifted to $90. So I personally ended up like missing out on her. I am curious if she will restock because I know like Howliday Draculaura initially sold out very quickly, but like she did restock.
I would assume so.
Yeah, so she might eventually restock. I think she's she's beautiful. It is cool too. Yeah, we assumed at first that she might have this same packaging as like some existing doll or Howliday Draculaura or something, but she does not from the looks of it. She has unique packaging. It's still like plastic dome packaging.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like old school like holiday like Barbies. Like kind of like that half dome, which is kind of if that was the intention, I think they really nailed it. But yeah, I think she'll be a fun display doll, like in the box.
Yeah, definitely.
And she does come with a stand, so it's kind of nice.
I know. What a luxury. But, oh, you know what, though? The stand she comes with is a crotch stand, if I recall correctly. So it's not, it doesn't clasp her at the waist, which we haven't seen the crotch stands in a while. Yeah, so I know, some people aren't the biggest fan of those. Some people might like those. But yeah, I mean, again, my observation has been that everyone is just madly in love with her. I've seen multiple people say, like, this is the best Draculaura. Like, I've seen people say, like, this is the best Monster High doll of all time, like, all that. I don't know if that's where my mind is at with this doll, but I do think she's very beautiful. She's very detailed. So it's nice to see, like, a highly detailed Monster High doll. I want to see her in person. I want to see what she's like unboxed. I want to see people's photos of her after they have her on hand, because of course promos give one impression and the in-person experience can give a very different impression. And that's kind of just the little grain of salt I'm holding on to as well myself. But if she restocks, maybe I don't even know if I'll get an opportunity to see her in person before then, because apparently, she's expected to ship and arrive, I think, in October, sometime in October. But yeah, definitely let us know your thoughts on Vampire Heart Draculaura. Again, it seems like pretty much everyone adores her. Very curious what y'all think. Were you able to buy her? Did you miss her? She was definitely not an immediate sellout. She was available for a little while. So hopefully folks who wanted her were able to get her, and we'll see if she restocks. So much fanfare, exploded over that Draculaura that the other doll that released the same day, it seems like was kind of overshadowed by Draculaura, which is funny because, Howliday Clawdeen. So initially, we assumed that Vampire Heart was some sort of, follow-up to the Howliday Edition Draculaura, but it actually seems like this Clawdeen is in the same vein as Howliday Draculaura. She comes in, from the looks of it, the same style of packaging. She's, winter holiday themed, and she is priced at $45, which I'm like, was that the same as Draculaura, or is that $5 more? I remember. But Howliday Clawdeen is an Amazon exclusive. She costs $45. I don't know if she sold out. I have no idea.
I don't know. I don't even remember her listing.
To be perfectly honest, this one kind of fell off our radar. Neither of us ended up purchasing her. She doesn't speak to me personally. She's, I always like to see a Clawdeen with purple hair. Actually, it looks like she has purple and blue hair. Yeah, I like the blue streaks. Those are cute.
I think she's cute. I would have gotten her, but I spent $100 on Draculaura. But I think she's cool. I mean, I know Max hate OG Clawdeen's color scheme, where it's purple and green. There's no green here. But I do like purple, and I think curly hair works nice for her.
Yeah, definitely. I know, something Sang has mentioned is that he has mermaid dress fatigue at this point. It's
literally every single release he does mermaid dress.
Yeah, that style of dress I think is a little played out. Not even just in Monster High, just in general. Yeah. It's just, it's been just a lot that we've seen a lot of that. This Clawdeen is cute. I don't think she offers anything horribly unique. The design on her dress is kind of cute. It's also, it's also kind of simple, but it's just spider webs and crescent moons and stuff like that. It's a lot of classic Clawdeen. She has a crescent moon belt. Her choker is kind of cute. It's kind of like a little crescent moon with a bow. And she has glitter, which, I'm
fine with glitter as long as there's no tinsel.
Yes. And she does come with a fur shawl, which is cute.
I mean, if she's still available and I see her, I'll probably buy her later. I think she's cute. I think if this is what they're continuing with every year, I would love to see some other characters pop up. Maybe Frankie next, and then... we haven't even talked about that Laguna that Entertainment Earth got. God. That one's really bad. We're not going to talk about her. I don't think most people do not get that one.
Yeah, I mean, Laguna... Gen 3 Laguna is polarizing. I feel like there's people who just have a lot of issues with her. Sang is not a fan. Laguna was Sang's favorite character in Gen 1 and 2.
And I love her in Gen 2.
Yeah.
And then Gen 3, they're like, you know what? We're just gonna have you eat a sherbet popsicle and then throw it up and all these colors will come out.
We've mentioned this in previous videos and stuff. Gen 3 Laguna, I think there's some fun concepts there.
Yeah. It's
but
too much.
the execution, I think, it's just too many different colors, and her hair quality is really bad. I've been hearing a lot of people say that Gen 3 Laguna does not have polypropylene hair.
But it's hideous.
Regardless of whether or not that's the case, it feels very coarse, very unpleasant. I thought if it's not poly, it must at least be like a poly blend or something, regardless of what people are saying. It's saran. I was like, that is very unpleasant feeling saran, if that's the case. So, and I mean, it's true. They're like, yeah, you can, if you want to, you can boil wash her or whatever. I'm like, I'm the type of person, like, I like to preserve my doll's hair at least similarly to how it's intended to be styled.
Yeah.
So, you know, the Entertainment Earth exclusive Laguna is not for us. No. She's just not my cup of tea. No. I think she's, you know, I can see why some people would like her. Her jellyfish purse is fun, but yeah. It would be interesting to see her in a Howliday style. That I hope they
would use the original Laguna, not Gen 3.
They would. Yeah. That's true. I kind of hope they would go very like pastel with her in that. I think that would be cute.
And not a mermaid dress.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. The doll industry loves their mermaid dresses now.
I mean, I feel like it saves on fabric, and I think that's mainly like a cost-saving measure. But
yes, there's a lot of other things swirling around in the world of Monster High right now. I mean, to be really honest, the Monster High release that I'm actually maybe most excited for is Welcome Committee Frankie Stein, that some people are also saying is kind of doubling as like a Pride release. Yeah, there's a lot of rainbow colors in their palette. And their accessories. So I'm very excited for that Frankie. I definitely will be picking that up. Yeah, there's certain things I don't know if we can get super deep into because we're not trying to get copyright struck over leaks and stuff like that. And I know for some of this stuff, the promo images are out and everything. You know, obviously there's a new Toralei and the Werecat twins 3-pack, which is really funny because, again, historically, I have not been a big Toralei fan, and I've never liked the Werecat twins. I actually think the Werecat twins might have gotten an upgrade.
Well, yeah, they definitely did, but they also look different from each other. I think that's the biggest compliment I can give it. It's, they look different from each other. It kind of sucks that their first introduction, at least from what we know, from what was leaked, we don't know if there's another release coming out for them, but they're in a 3-pack, and I think, you know, that's not very fair for people to just want the twins and not Toralei.
That's how they getcha. Yeah.
And but they look cool. And I wish they had like their normal outfits, not like these rocker outfits.
For like, because it's their signature, it's their first release. Yeah. So it's like, is that their signature?
So again, we don't know if they're going to release them separately as signature dolls. But from what we've seen so far, this is the first introduction we have to their dolls.
Yeah. All that stuff is, you know, again, it's leaky right now. So we're not going to get too deep into it. But yeah, you know, definitely let us know your thoughts on all these upcoming Monster High dolls, the collector dolls, you know, the ones that already went live. Did you pre-order them? Definitely let us know your thoughts. And yeah, again, things might be a little podcast heavy for a little while. So let us know what you would like to hear us discuss next. Thank you so much for joining us for this conversation. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
All right, bye.